All right, so welcome to another edition of the Q&A with Alan and Marshall. I'm Marshall Atkinson, and
I'm Alan Howe.
Hey, and we're here for you to answer your questions. So I don't know if anybody's watching yet, but if you are, please leave a comment. We'd like to know who you are, where you're watching from, but also your question. So this whole thing is about industry questions and things that we can do to help you. So Al, make sure you don't put the audio on.
I put the audio on my phone because I'm watching on that too, and I apologize.
That's okay.
Well,
so we're all about helping people out. There's a lot going on right now in the industry and in people's lives. And although I would say that I certainly don't have all the answers, I might have a few.
Right. Hey,
right.
One. You got some people.
Great. Sam Bollinger here from Lansing, Michigan. Another Michiganders. How do you say it?
I know Sam. Sam is the Michigan rep for T&J Supply.
All right.
Sam took me, they're an Easiway dealer, so Sam and I have made some calls together. He took me to an incredible, it's like my favorite place to go.
Yeah, he had a chili dog?
Well, no. It's actually a company called Crimson Lizard in Lansing. They're a screen printer.
Okay.
But they're also in this big church. It's called the Sanctuary, where they distill their own wine. They have their own wine, their own vodka, their own gin, stuff like that.
There's a t-shirt printer that makes their own booze?
Oh, it's awesome. I love it. So we went there. I didn't order anything from me. I bought a bottle of wine, and yeah. So Sam took me there. It's my new favorite place. Booze, screen printing, in a church.
That's awesome. Did you get a taste test at all?
I didn't need to. Yes, I did, actually. Yeah, we did. Yep. Oh, we got some other people watching.
Peter Walsh, M&R. What's up, Peter? Right. Hey, hope you're doing great and surviving everything. And I know Chicago's in a huge lockdown situation. So
I think I saw, Peter, you're back home in Kansas City, correct? In Missouri, I believe.
I thought he permanently moved to Chicago.
I don't think he moved there. I think he goes there. And I think he went back there in quarantine to be with his family. We're guessing now. Peter, help us out, buddy. We're just guessing on your life. It's more interesting than our life.
Right. So anyway, I'd like to tell a story before we get going here. And do you remember what happened on Wednesday, Alan?
Wednesday was April 1, so I'm guessing April Fool's Day.
Right. I was going to share that story I told you.
And it's awesome because I told you what I think of your family. I could not survive there. You are some sick puppies.
So, there's a lot of tension going on and people are freaking out. And so I was thinking, you know what? I mean to do an April Fool's joke and just bring us all down to earth. And of course, it's the virus. I'm not going to make fun of that. So what I did is I created a fake email from my son's school. He's a 10th grader.
Classic.
And I just used an email that the principal wrote and inserted my own sentences and built this email about how, because of the lockdown and everything was going on, that he was going to have to repeat the 10th grade. And I forwarded it to both my son Jack and my wife Jody, and just waited for the reaction. And sure enough, there was about 20 minutes of stomping around and fuming from both of them. And I worked really hard to keep a straight face. And eventually I kind of blew it. But I called it the Order 66 rule, which if you're a Star Wars fan, which my son is, that was from the Clone Wars where they did the Order 66 and all the clones attacked all the Jedi Knights. And I thought surely he would get that, but he didn't. So he told me that, he hates me now. But it's still really funny, and I'm still giggling over it. So if you guys did anything with your families for April Fool's Day or whatever, maybe share that and let's lighten things up with a little humor. I think humor is a really great tool to use to get past, challenging times and that kind of stuff. And so that was my goal with that. And I guess you could probably argue that I wasn't successful, but it's one of those things. So anyway, so again, if you're watching, and I see we're building up an audience here. If you're watching, please, please, please leave a comment about where you're watching, what's going on in your neck of the woods. And then we would love questions. That's the whole purpose of this, is to answer y'all's questions, right? So I'm really kind of stalling until we get some questions. So it's important that we do that. So
Marshall, who have you found out, like supplier wise and stuff? I know there are still some people printing. Some people are doing some stuff. They're decorating garments. Who's still? There might be a skeleton crew supplier wise. Who's still out there? Some people have been laid off. We know that, but who do you know that's out there still shipping product?
Who's out there shipping product? Are all the people doing the Here for Good campaigns. Yeah. And I see everybody signing up for that, and I think it's having tremendous success. We were both watching Two Regular Guys podcast a minute ago, and they had Sloan Coleman on there from Tiny Little Monster in St. Louis talking about the effort and everything and how she came up with the idea and what's going on. And I have to give a huge applause to Sloan for that whole thing. And I think that's really helping people get through this. And if you haven't seen that, I would highly suggest you go to tinylittlemonster.com and check out what she's doing. In fact, we should put that link up there. I'll do that in a minute. But and it's a way that you can rally support for businesses in your community that have closed down. So these are restaurants and bars and gyms and associations. We don't think of them so much, but you know what? Maybe that Humane Society isn't doing much business or whatever, right? So the people that aren't really functioning right now, that are severely impacted that because they had to lay all their employees off, what's going on is you can create T-shirts for this. So what folks are doing is they're selling T-shirts for $20. $10 of that goes to the shop. $10 of that goes to a business. And that way, through this crisis, we can keep two businesses going. Yep. And I think this is going to be a really great thing. It's going to have there's a limited time here with this. And I think it's probably the next month or so. And then we'll focus on something else. But right now, I think this is something that's really going to be impactful for people. And if you haven't started this, now's really the time to do it. And I would take clues from people who are really having some good success with this. I know Shelby Craig with Rocket Shirts is really killing it. I know Jared Hennis with Rockford Art Deli is really doing well with this. A lot of these businesses are signing up, not just like 2 or 3 businesses, but like 100. It's just so impactful.
I know Mission One in Michigan, just for his area, in the Thumb area of Michigan, has created that and just killing it, doing well. I shouldn't say doing well, but man, being effective. I know Sandlot Sports is doing one for Saginaw. I thought I saw Ryan Doss watching. Ryan, if you're here, what's the name? I want to say it's Saginaw First. But there's a lot of people doing great things out there. The Rocket Shirts, they're in Tennessee, correct?
Yeah, they're in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Shelby Craig, he's he's a certified story brand guide, and he does a lot with data, and he's really good with social media and Google Pixel, Facebook Pixels, and all that kind of stuff. So it's no surprise he's having really good success with that. Right. And there is a private Facebook group. So if you start this Here for Good campaign, you can join that group. It's private. So A lot of people can't get in, and everybody's sharing best practices, tips, what isn't working. There's a lot of stuff in there about I'm failing, I'm struggling, what helped me, and people are jumping to the rescue in there. So it's a really great, interesting group, and I highly suggest that you guys join that. All right, so we've got some comments.
Ryan Dost, who just posted, I asked them to. At Sandlot, they're doing one called Saginaw Awesome.
Great.
Awesome, it's called Saginaw Awesome. It's one word right there. So yeah, thank you, Ryan, for posting that. So they just
thanks.
And they've done stuff even before quarantine. I had a shirt on, I think last time, called Saginaw Vibe that they were doing just to give back to the community. So this is nothing new for Ryan and Adam at
Right.
Sport. So great job, guys.
And by the way, Peter says that they announced the lockdown in Kansas City. No one noticed because you're right. He did go back to Kansas City. Eric Mickelson says he's working on his next idea, Christmas after quarantine, get retail sales moving. Hey, that's very interesting. He's already focused on holiday sales.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. That's awesome. Way to go, Eric. Yeah.
Your buddy Sam says,
Yep.
I'll start. Oh, a different Sam.
Yeah.
I'll start off. I'm in the UK and using this time to reduce work to focus on writing articles to be used on my website as content. Do you have any tips, pointers, best practices for writing articles and staying motivated and consistent? Well, Sam, as a matter of fact, I do.
You and I together have written an article or two.
So here's the best way to write an article. And I'm not sure how they do things in the UK with education, but I rely on just what my English teacher, I guess in England, do they have English class? I don't. That's what we call it here when we learn to read and write. I don't know.
Yeah.
But so back when I was in school, the way I learned to write was create an outline, your introduction, first paragraph, second paragraph, blah, 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 conclusion, right? I create lots of content. I write a blog article a week. In fact, I just finished my blog article for tomorrow this morning. And I also create lots of content. I create ebooks. I just wrote an ebook for Cornette just a little while ago. I create ebooks that I sell. I'm in the middle of writing another one right now. And I use this method all of the time. I also create a spreadsheet with ideas, and I have them weekly. And right now, my idea list, I think, I guess it probably goes all the way out to maybe August, September-ish. I can't remember. But I just kind of like think of an idea, I put it on my calendar, and then what I do is I just go to the next one, and it's just like reloading. And I collect ideas all the time. I subscribe to, I can't even tell you how many RSS feeds where these, Medium is really good, different articles, Wall Street Journal, whatever, all this stuff comes into me, and anything that I like, I have a folder just in my email, and I just shove that stuff in there. And then if I'm trying to figure out what I want to write about sometimes, or if I remember a salient point, I'll go over there, I'll look, I go, oh, yeah, that's this thing that I wanted to kind of use as the basis. And then I use that as inspiration and then filter my idea through that, and that creates the content. And generally my writing cycle is I start on Monday with the outline. On Tuesday, I'm writing some paragraphs. By Wednesday, I've finished. I usually leave it alone. For Thursday, I don't even look at it. And then Friday morning, I usually open it back up and reread it. And then all the stuff in it that I hate, that doesn't make any sense, yeah, I take that out and edit it, and then it's done. And then I schedule it for Saturday morning. And I think it's really important that if you're going to be doing blogs and stuff, that you stay consistent. Just like a show on TV or a podcast or anything, it needs to come out on the same day and time every week, because that's how you're going to find your audience. So hopefully, Sam, that answered your question. So there you go.
The one thing I'd like to add, and I agree with you, Marshall, plan it out, use proper, I imagine in England, it's probably called grammar. On there, we call it English.
That's right.
Two things that I started when I started writing is I write what I know about. Don't try to write about something that you have no idea. If it's something you're not familiar with, get with people who know more than you on that subject, but make sure you're quoting them and you're giving a source to do that. I've seen so many times where people will write something and I'm just looking going, this is not good. And then I see why. It's like, they don't know this.
Right.
And so make sure you're not blowing smoke. You'll get called on that.
Right.
Same thing. We all learned the whole outline thing. Introduction, run your points, have your subpoints, conclusion, and make sure. And I think the introduction's important. You got to have something to get them, because right now it's content. They're going to check it out. Oh, what is this? Unless they're following you right away for new viewers and stuff, they're going to look at that, read that first couple lines, paragraph, and you should be able to get them right then. If not, they're going to move on.
Yeah, and I also should mention, what are the reasons why you would want to write a blog, right? And one of them is called SEO content, right? So right now, I'm an industry coach. I've been doing this for a while. I've been writing blogs since 2010. So that's a weekly blog, right, for 10 years, right, with 2,000 to 4,000 words a week. And so I have a #1 Google page ranking without putting any money in it. And that's just because of all the backlinks and stuff and SEO value of posting all that stuff. But I do know that content consumption is changing, and I'm having to do new things with video, hence what we're doing here, right? And I'm trying to do more with video and other avenues as well. So I'm not relying just on my blogs. I'm trying to do different things and teach myself stuff. And so it's important to grow with that as well. So
absolutely.
Hey, so let's give some shout outs, I think. So Kisa's here. Good morning. She's been watching us since I think we started this. So good to see her. Yep. My buddy Daryl is here. California. Salinas, California. Salinas, California. And by the way, interesting trivia. Daryl and I share the same birthday.
So, what day would that be?
August the 13th.
Write that down, everybody. Get
Leos.
Marshall will post a list of colors and sizes.
Right. Okay, your buddy Sam, is the correct Sam, says T&J is shipping out of their headquarters in Illinois. Small crew, keeping customer service going. And our guys in the back room from everyone trying to help where we can. Also, Josiah Blackmore at RedTest is doing a Midland, Michigan promotion similar to what Mission 1 is doing. That's great.
Yeah, I forgot to say that. Josiah's doing a great one up there from Red Threads in Midland, Michigan, which is right in the middle of Michigan. Why it's called Midland.
Okay, so Peter asked a question. He wants to know, what are your recommendations for screen printers to stay in contact with their regular customers, not necessary to ask for orders, but to build relationships for the future? That's a fantastic question, Peter. Thank you. I would suggest picking up the phone and just simply calling. And we're not trying to sell them anything. What we're trying to do is just say, hey, what's going on? I'm concerned. I want to help you. What do you need? That kind of thing. And just, it's called leading with empathy. And another thing that you can do is there's a tool that I learned about in Shirt Lab, Washington, D.C., and that's called Soapbox. And Soapbox is a really great way to add video to an email. So if you haven't checked it out, it's just soapbox.com. Look at it. You can get a free account. I actually have the paid version because I like to put my logo on it. But what's really great is you can use your webcam. You can record a short message like, hey, Alan, just wanted to check on you, blah, 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 blah. And you're looking straight at that lens camera. So when they open it up, because you're going to send it by email, when they open it up, they're going to feel like you're in the room with them talking to them. So it's a great way to get that human to human connection going. I would not try to sell anybody anything right now.
Correct.
This is all about being empathetic, about being caring. It's about showing compassion. Maybe tell a little joke. Maybe you're funny. I'm not funny. At least that's what my son says, right? But it's like one of these things. We want to be there for people. What are your tips, Alan?
Well, I think you're right. One, you want to keep in touch with all your clients, but I think this is a great way with empathy too, to reach out to those people that that maybe aren't clients, because that's where real empathy comes at. You don't want to be selling them anything. You don't want to do anything with an ulterior motive, but you want to really care. And if you can't do that, then don't call them. But by doing that, you're furthering that relationship. So you need to be able to do that while truly caring, whether you get future sales or not. But it's a great way to build that. I think you have to be doing this. And I'm going to slide down a little bit, Marshall, to add on to this.
Mm-hmm.
Peter also asked too, what should people start doing for screen printers to stay in contact, not just with their customers, but I think down he puts to improve their craft. So one, you want to be keeping in touch with your clients, your suppliers, and future customers, because you can also maybe, as you're talking to them, what are ideas to do something now? What could they be doing? How can you help them and be a resource? People can buy from whoever they want, but if you're a resource, you have some added value there. And you want to be that resource to help them build their business when times are bad.
Right.
From there. And that'll get going. They may bring up, at that point going, when we get through this, I'm actually thinking about this and this. And what do you think? Give them your opinion then. And say, you know what? When we get through this, let's talk about it. I'd love to be a part of that. And that's fine, because now you're being a help to them.
Right.
So, that leads into what Peter asked. I think everybody now, if you have the time, you can go into your shop. Now is the time to be looking at that. We are going to be in a world, and I actually just wrote an article for Easiway Systems. They asked me, I finished it this week, and usually I write all technical stuff. But on this one, I changed it up because I did not want to write something technical for a magazine in Europe. And not talk about the elephant in the room, which is, it's not even an elephant. It is the world we're in. And I called it, what do we do in the new normal? And that's what's going to be. So you have to look at one, how are you going to relate with customers and clients in the new normal, but also your shop, because in the new normal, things are still going to be true. When things are at the peak, we kind of forget about, changing things up. We're just printing shirts, making money, doing all that. But, as things slide down in this valley, in the trough, that's where opportunity is for clients, for capital purchases and stuff, for resources, and for people. So if you can now start looking, going, okay, so for me, I wrote on the reclaim room and screen printing. I'm using a system this way and it's worked fine, but maybe now it's time to go, is this the best situation? Things change, technology changes. Maybe that ink system, maybe that supplier, because again, I'm going to go, you can order from anybody online. But if they're not helping you, right now, we don't need people to sell us stuff. You want partners.
Right.
You want to be a business partner. Maybe you need to look at your suppliers. Maybe you need to look at your processes, going, where are we weak at? I think we're going to come in the new normal is we're going to find shops can operate a lot leaner than they normally did. I know a lot of companies, Tom Rowan is one. He was talking about him getting back onto the press. He has not been out there in a while. I know Joe from Sedgwick from Gorilla Joe's posted that he hasn't been out there, and they're really appreciating their employees right now, which is good. And those guys always did.
Yeah, and they're posting videos showing them struggling a little bit, right? And thanking their employees for the work that they do. And I think one of the things that we can also do is we can be vulnerable, right?
That's
we don't have to project a facade that we're indestructible, whatever, right? We can say, hey, this is I forgot how much hard work this was, or I don't know the answer to this question.
Well, and that's what I was picking up.
Right?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I talked over you. Say that last sentence again.
I said, what did I say? I said, you need to be vulnerable, right? And just say, hey, it's okay to not know how to do something or not have the answer to the question, and ask that. And I think we spend a lot of time, especially as leaders and business owners, if that's you, right? Just pretending that we know everything, right? And asking questions is a great way to move things forward, because you don't necessarily know everything, but people around you in your sphere probably do. These could be your employees, these could be your suppliers, these could be people in the industry like me or you, right?
Marshall, too, as these people like Tom and Joe we used as an example in their shop, they're also finding out, going, wow, maybe we can do this better. And sometimes your production manager, your people are saying, man, we need to change this. And it's hard to get attention when things are just going and kicking. And now's the time to go, hey, you talked about this. Maybe what can we do better and engage your people? And,
right.
Yeah.
And so I know a lot of shops right now are really spending a lot of time rethinking how they're going to be doing stuff. So when the all clear whistle happens, I don't even know if they're going to have one, right? But when that happens, right, and we go back to work, right, things are going to change. In fact, my blog article tomorrow is all about talking about your future narrative, right, and the difference between the stories that we tell ourselves and then what is the narrative with all of that. And so just think about, everything that you do in your life, whether it's, where I met my wife, or I went to the grocery store and you can believe what this happened. These are all stories, right? And if you string enough of those together, that becomes the narrative, right? That becomes the narrative of our life. And right now, I think a lot of people, and we'll get to Peter's quote in a minute, but I think a lot of people are stuck in the narrative that they tell themselves, because the only thing that they use to define themselves is their occupation, right? So I'm a business owner, I'm a screen printer, I'm an embroiderer, I'm a salesperson, right? And I think what's happening right now, and it's shocking to people, is when that is removed, what is left? And I think a lot of the anxiety right now is about people don't understand what's their place in the world. And so I don't want to get all philosophical here, but I think we need to understand that we can be more than what we do for money.
I agree.
And so, and I love Peter's quote here, which is from John Maxwell, and that guy's awesome. People don't know how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah.
Right? And that's all about leading with empathy. And thank you for sharing, Peter.
Thank you very much.
All right. So
nobody's read any John Maxwell books on leadership. I highly recommend them. They're great.
Yeah. He's awesome. Who else is here? Oh, Rob Coleman's here. Hey, Rob. He agrees that Alan knows everything.
Well, the answer is everybody. So
Charles is here. Hey, Charles.
Guys off here. I don't know how.
Oh, here's my favorite quote right here. Ready? Go Knowles, baby.
I was ignoring that one too.
Go Knowles. Woohoo! Thanks, Eric.
Yeah.
Made my day.
Yeah. Charles on here from New Mexico.
Who?
Charles Juros.
Yeah. I just flashed him out there. Yeah.
Yeah, Ragged Apparel. So
yeah. So do we miss anybody?
There is
so if you're watching, and I think we're at the bottom of our questions, please ask a question. That's what we're here for. The show is called Q&A with Alan and Marshall, not Alan and Marshall commentary. So we would love to answer your questions. Also, if any of the questions are asked by anybody and you feel that you have something to contribute, we would love for you to post those answers as well, because there's nothing better than crowdsourcing brain power. Okay, so I don't profess to know everything, and I know Alan feels the same way. So,
right. So Peter and Sam have mentioned stuff. So thank you guys very much on there.
Right.
So yeah, there's a lot of people watching I can see on Facebook. So yeah, feel free to join in, answer some questions, say hey, let us know that you're watching. So some are outside of the industry, but that's okay.
Right.
So cool.
Okay, Mary Summerall says, hey, Marshall and Alan, and we're looking to select our top 100 customers and contact something. I think she got cut off or hit the enter button early.
Number one. This is a game show. Fill in the blank. Contact.
Right. It's like Jeopardy. Okay, so we're looking to select our top 100 customers. Contact. Oh, here you go. Here's the rest of it. And set them up stores to offer a higher level of service. Okay, that's not what I would guess, but that's awesome, Mary. Yeah. So do you have, when we do stuff like this, right? Do you have everything already prepared? Here's what you got to think about, right? Is everything already branded? It's ready to go. It's ready to launch. And all you have to do is make it happen. So what we're looking for from a customer, of course, is that frictionless experience. Right. So not like, hey, let me check into that. It's what, let's do it. Here are the 3 things you got to do. We need your logo. We need this, blah, 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 blah. And it's already done for them. And if you're doing online stores, a really great, especially right now, a really great thing to do is to curate what you're offering. So maybe just a good, better, best in t-shirts, limited colors, limited decoration, that type of stuff. Don't just plop down the S&S catalog or the Sanmar catalog. Really curate what's going to really happen for them and make it easy for people to make a decision. Have your pricing set up and all that, so it's easy. So some thoughts on that. All right. Oh, here you go. Wow. Eric says, my dad and I are lost with no action happening in the office. My dad, Jim, is having the toughest time after 43 years of coming to work, and now there is nothing. How can we keep our sanity? Well, you can create your sanity, I think, by taking some action, right? So just reviewing what's working and what isn't working in your business, or in processes and different things, and building your systems out. And also, I know you guys just threw away 6 dumpsters full of stuff because I saw that on Facebook, right? And so planning about what's going to happen after the storm ends, right? What are you going to be doing? And I liked your thing that you posted earlier about getting ready for the holidays, right? But what about 4th of July, right? That's just around the corner. What about, I was getting mixed up, Memorial Day and Labor Day. Which one's in May? It's
Labor Day in the fall, yeah.
Right? Labor Day is in the fall, Memorial Day is in the, I always get them confused. So what are we doing there? Are we still going to be in lockdown?
Right.
Just kind of think things through a little bit. Reaching out to customers, trying to get them situated and helpful, so if you want something to do, here's your phone. Actually, it's my phone, but hey, calling them up and just say, hey, we're here for you. What do you, what's going on? That kind of stuff. Right. And just that activity. I mean, you could do that several hours a day. All I've been doing is talking on the phone. So I know from experience how much that fills up your day. So
absolutely.
What do you think, Alan?
Oh, wow. At first I have empathy for Eric. I'm trying to picture being in the office with my father after 43 years every day. Yeah, my heart's out to you on there of if I had to try to keep him busy. Yeah, do something. What does he normally do? And what first comes to mind is what does he normally do in the business? And start tasking, for both of you. It sounds like they're both a little bit, just trying to figure this out as we all are. But what does he normally do? And if it's in production, man, have him start looking, going, if we come through this, sky's the limit. What do we need to change? What could we change? What process would you like to change? And just to have him start making lists and looking through that. I don't want to say to keep him busy, but to keep him engaged would be the word.
In fact, I've got a great idea that I just came up with while I was listening to Alan. How about creating a video series of your top 10 or 20 frequently asked questions. Each question, how do I order? What do I need to do? How do you do payment? How do I do customer pickup? Whatever. Create whatever your most frequently asked questions are. Create a short little couple-minute video on each of those, right? So this means you got to write out a script. You got to storyboard it out. What are you going to say? How does it work? And then you film it. And let me tell you, it's going to be harder than you think, right? Mm-hmm. Create this stuff, and then you can upload it to your website. This becomes SEO content. It becomes things that you can send to a customer. There's a lot of value here. And typically, when we're running our shop, we're so focused on just getting orders out the door. These are the things that we never do.
Yep, absolutely. Good. We have a couple other people loaded some stuff. Marshall.
Oh my God. So what's the most famous whiskey to come out of Tennessee?
I saw that. We'll go above. There's some. Well, below that, here's another one. I don't know.
What's the most famous wine to come out of Tennessee?
Yeah, I think it's called White Lightning. Both answers.
I don't know. Here's the trick. It's wine spelled with an H.
He's from Australia. That's how they spell it there.
I don't know. I think the most famous wine to come out of Tennessee is this a sports related question?
I have no idea. I'm afraid to
answer. Here you go. Why can't we beat Alabama? So, hey, it's Dad Jokes with Peter on Q&A with Alan and Marshall today.
So Eric's dad is, climbing the walls, not sure what to do. Peter's bored.
Peter's, he's one of the funniest guys we have, I think, in this industry, and it's his deadpan Australian accent that always kills me.
It's great. You gotta love an Aussie, man. There's a couple of questions above Peter's.
Okay, let me scroll up.
Were you looking at one, and Charles had one.
Where? Oh, here you go.
Okay.
We have learned that limiting the majority of web search to 3 basic options, a t-shirt, a dry fit, and a hoodie, makes things the easiest. Having less options for customers makes it easier for them to order and makes it a whole lot easier for fulfillment. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So think about this. When you go through Chick-fil-A, right? Can you get a pizza? Right? Can you get spaghetti, right? And then where's their value menu, right? They don't have one. They just offer their things, and they're super fast about getting it out. In fact, a lot of the Chick-fil-A's, especially the ones that my family likes to frequent, have the double drive-through because that's how fast they're killing it, right? They take the orders in the parking lot. They're so fast, right? So it's about shoving as much as they possibly can through those mealtime periods. And so I think a lesson to be learned here is simplifying things creates a standard, and having that allows you to accelerate. And it's the clarity of what you're trying to do, because remember, you're the expert. So if you say, hey, I like this shirt, this is what you can go with, most people will just go, okay, because they don't know. Right? You're the expert. Here's what we want. Can you use something else? Definitely. But let's start with this.
I think also, too, as a salesperson, as a supplier, as you guys are with your clients, the more you know them, the more you're engaging in what they really want, you can help just define that to what are they looking for. I'm looking for just a shirt. Really? There's a lot of options out there. So the more you engage and start talking to them, then you can come up with plan A, plan B. And I know even in my experience in the years that you give people too many options, they're just paralyzed. Talk more, listen more, talk less, find out what they're really looking for, what their market is, what they want to do, what their future plans are, and then come up with a top choice, have A, then B, then in your back pocket have C if needed.
Right. And by the way, we've got Neil here says, sometimes I tell my dad jokes, occasionally he laughs.
You know who Neil Bolding is, Marshall?
Huh?
You know Neil Bolding?
I do. So
now we have Peter with Aussie dad jokes, and now we have Neil with British dad jokes.
Yeah. So anyway, what time? We got 20 minutes left. Would love to answer some more questions. And while we wait for those, I'd like to share something with everyone that we're kind of debuting today. And I haven't really talked about this with Alan yet, but
I'm scared.
it is this Shirt Lab Summit, right? So what is this? What is the Shirt Lab Summit? So the Shirt Lab Summit is Tom and Rowan and I's answer to what's going on right now. So we've been really working hard for the last several weeks putting this together. So write this down on your calendar. June 1, which is a Monday, through June 3rd, which is a Wednesday, we're going to have not live, but an online event for the industry called Shirt Lab Summit. And what we're doing here is we're interviewing 30 some odd folks in the industry that have a lot to say. And this is all of their tactical best practice tips about whatever they do, right? And guess who I interviewed? This guy, right? So he's sharing room stuff, right? So it's going to
cool people also too that you guys have interviewed. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, so we're in the middle of interviewing that. In fact, later today, I'm interviewing somebody from China. Do you know who that is?
President Xi? I don't know.
No, Mark Gervais.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yep. So looking forward to that. And I thought he was still in the States, but he actually went back.
He went back a couple weeks ago. So Mark Gervais, can we say who he is?
Yes.
So Mark Gervais is in charge of production. He's an American. He's worked for Wilflex and International Coatings, and he's a printer. Runs Ningbo, which is the largest screen print company in the world. They have multiple operations throughout Asia. Mark's a great guy. He was there at Long Beach. He's there at SGIA. So got him awesome. So
you think I don't know who's watching this and how big their shop is, but his is like 1.2 million square feet, and they employ over 5,000 people.
Yeah.
So that's probably a little different than yours.
Is that just in China? I know they set up stuff in Vietnam and everything.
Yeah, they have several locations, and so it's going to be a very interesting conversation. I'm really looking forward to it. And I was hanging out with him in Long Beach at the Catalyst party that Mark had, and it was fun talking with him then.
He's a great guy. Hey, Mark, I add something. Are you done with that? Can we go a different day?
What?
I want to ask them, are you done with the Shirt Lab stuff? I don't want to talk over you.
No. So anyway, so let's shirtlabsummit.com. We're putting the website together right now. So right now, we'd love for you to go to this address and just put your name and email in. And then once we have everything built, we're going to be sending you information about how you can register and all that kind of stuff. So each day we're going to have, 10 or 12 of the speakers doing their thing. And then you can watch for free. But if you want unlimited rights to watch the videos, we're also going to have every single video transcribed, and we're doing cliff notes. So you don't really have to take notes. We have a notes section we're doing, plus some other stuff and bonus features. And there's a kind of an order bump for that if you want all that. We're still trying to work out everything. So we'll have more information later, shortly, actually, because we're moving and shaking with this. But you need to go to shirtlabsummit.com and get signed up for it. And I also want to mention that all of our Shirt Lab sponsors for our live events are sponsoring this as well. So these are folks like Easiway and others. So please, please, please thank them. we'll have on our sponsor page and all that kind of stuff. And I don't want to go through all them, but please sign up, help us out. This is our way of right now, one, keeping busy, right? Because we don't want to be like Jim Nicholson with nothing to do, but we're trying to give back to the industry and keep things moving forward. And I think this is a super positive thing for us to do that. So that ends my spiel. Do you have any questions on that? Please put it in the comments. We'd love to answer them.
Hey, Neil Boulding posted, the dad joke thing, but I thought, Neil, if you're still on watching, if you could send a comment. Neil, of course, he's with McDermott Autotype, and I'm so grateful to Neil. He did some of my first emulsion training back in the day. But Neil runs in that industrial printing space, which a lot of people don't realize that a lot of things, medical equipment, touch panel, industrial is a big part of screen printing. Neil, maybe a little post on what's going on there during this COVID-19 thing. I know some of them are up and running. They are essential. Maybe we can throw a little blurb up there. That might be nice. That might be helpful.
Great.
A little insight.
Okay, so Kisa says, Alan, I can't think of the exact name of the class you taught at ISS. You retired it now. Is there a way to get the notes from it? Probably the best class I've been to.
Thank you.
What class?
She's only been to one class, obviously. You know what? There's a couple I've retired. It could have been bleeding dye migration, could have been printing better whites. 5 fundamentals. I'm actually doing that at the DAC shows. Supposedly, I did it at one. But if you'll go on Facebook and private message me, and we can talk and figure out which one, and I'll be happy to send you the notes.
Okay, so Peter goes, does the Shirtlev Summit link work? It should. I was playing with it earlier. Let me, I will, hey, why don't you talk for a minute? Let me just click and I'll post it.
So Neil Boulding just posted, he said, happy to post on there. Neil said, virtually all industrial related printers are considered essential business. This is due to supplying medical, food, and military. So they're up and running, and that's good to hear. So not all printing, screen printing is shut down. So Eric Campbell says, time to do some webinar revivals, Alan. We'll do that. Neil, thank you for that update. So, there's a section in our, it says they're very busy. Many have pivoted to providing face shields. Very good. So glad that, not just in garment decorating, but industrial, our industry has stepped up to help out. And I think in all industries too. I have a friend of mine, Scott Cummings, out of Port Huron, Michigan, owns QCS, which is a network, computer networking company, a large one he started. But they have 3D printers, and they are making face shields and just donating them to hospitals. He's incorporated quite a few. So a lot of very proud for America right now and the people in business that are stepping it up.
I will tell you, I am so proud of our industry. If you look at what all of the manufacturers and suppliers are doing, I'm sure I'm going to forget some people, but Sanmar and Allmade and Hanes and Jerseys and a lot of shops actually are making masks. And a lot of people are doing things, and and donating that. Some people are selling it. I'm not going to get into all that, but I think it's really just awesome that as an industry we're coming together to try to help with this huge pandemic. And I'm very proud of all of that. So great job if that's you or somebody in the industry. Awesome. Thank you.
I also hope, Marshall, through this, and this is going to be, if this is a soapbox I'm on, just shut me down, say, Alan, stop it. But I hope through this, a lot of our businesses, especially on the industrial side, a lot of that manufacturing went overseas. And right now, our companies are realizing we can make this and have the capabilities. And sometimes, just because we can get it for pennies less overseas may not also be the right thing in the long term. So hopefully this starts something.
Well, I think it has to come down to, Alan, that people are really willing to pay a little more for something that's made here. And people have been talking about made in the USA and bringing manufacturing back for years and years and years. It's not like a new theme.
No, not at all.
And there's people who are 100% about made in the USA, right? And but there's other people. It's like, oh, it's all about the price. They don't care, right? And we're seeing that challenge right now unfold in front of us. So, hey, let's get to Eric's question. So he says it's a sad reality that some printers will go out of business. Do you see this as an opportunity for printers that survive? And I would have to answer yes, right? So
Yes.
I was talking with somebody this week, and the metaphor that I was using is right now we're trying to swim underwater the entire length of an Olympic-sized pool, right? That's what's going on. And the only air or the oxygen we have is cash. It's money. And so what's keeping us going is that cash and that's money. So you talked about this last week, Alan, where you need to be conserving money or making money. And this is how we're going to get through this whole thing. This is how you're going to get to the other side of the pool, to the end of this event, is with cash. And so we need to be rethinking about what we're doing and developing new partnerships with people, new opportunities with people. That's why I think the Here for Good campaign is such an awesome idea. There's a lot of things that we should be doing the masks, for example. I know a lot of people are pivoting to that. That's not what you really do. But if this is a way that you can keep your shop open, I suggest that you be looking at that, right? And then that cash is that oxygen that's going to get us to the other end of the pool. If you don't have that, your business is going to drown.
Yeah.
And it's the sad reality, and I hate it. But let's face it, not everybody's good in business.
Yeah.
Right.
There is going to be a thinning of the herd. So
right.
It's sad because these are real people in real lives, and I hate it.
Right. I hate it too. But
there is going to be opportunity. You said I love going swimming at the whole length of the pool. I always use, there's a trough cycle, a valley of economic. We don't know where the bottom is, but that's where opportunity is for resources, for equipment, and for key people.
Right.
Just king. You got to start looking in that direction. What are we going to do? How can we get it? And it's not just our industry; it's everywhere.
Yeah.
My uncle owns a company, started a company that makes expanded polystyrene for the back of vinyl siding. They were telling me, I know EPS is normally for what they buy it at $1.24 a pound. He has the opportunity to buy it for 24 cents a pound. They're looking for warehouse space just because they have the cash, they can do it. So when they come out of this, there's going to be, big profit. I know one supplier just bought a ton of ink, a boatload of ink at, a greater profit margin. And so when they come out of this, they're going to be sitting pretty. So cash is king, conserve that. And unfortunately, as they go under, you might be able to put some of their key people to work, look at that and try to bring something good about it.
Right. So not only do we have Peter Walsh with M&R, but we have John with MHM here. So everybody's equipment folks are hanging out. So John says, and he's in England, by the way, if you don't know. So same conversation taking place over here too. We need to be once again self-sufficient in many areas of industry, and folks need to pay a little more. We can do it. Look at the camaraderie during the crisis. And that's a great comment, John. Thank you for coming and over here and attending.
Did you see Neil's post right above that too?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I missed that.
All right.
Price and value is being rethought in medical and hygiene critical areas. Of course it is. And by the way, I want to give a shout out to Robert Kraft with the New England Patriots for flying their plane to China and buying all those masks and flying them back. And just doing what needs to be done.
Absolutely.
I mean, that was such an awesome thing to see yesterday. And I love it. I love it because You don't have to do that, right? He didn't have to do that. I mean, I don't know what 1.2 million masks cost, right? I don't know what they cost, but just think about they flew his plane with his people over there and did it, and all of that red tape, and just imagine the logistics problem that they solved for that.
Yep.
If that guy can solve it, right? Come on, not like he's dumb or anything, but he made it happen, right? Other people can make it happen too. That was so inspiring to see.
In our own space, and each company's own space, he has a bigger space. And not only did he put the money up, but hey, I will go and get them. That was that was great. And not bad publicity. He's been a little bit in the shadows here lately. So
yeah,
but still incredible.
Right. Okay, and Eric goes, very cool, but still just like the Patriots.
Has nothing to do with sport.
I understand totally, Eric.
Hey, you got Tom Brady down there in Florida now, so.
Yeah. Did you? I saw this awesome fake Twitter thing from Jameis Winston, because Tom Brady was supposed to post, hey, just arrived in Tampa. Anything going on here I should know about? And so the post for Jameis was, what you doing in town, man? Would love to hook up.
Nice.
Right. So
hate the Patriots again. I'm going to say I'm from Detroit. I have no idea. Our football team's supposed to win. They just don't.
Yeah. Hey, we're so sorry about the Lions, but
my whole life,
right?
Yeah, they're going to win a Super Bowl. My great grandkids will tell me about it.
Yeah.
No, they won't tell me. I'll be gone.
Yeah, I've been a Dallas Cowboys fan my entire life, so I'm one of those guys. All right. Eric shared that Sloan was on Two Regular Guys this morning, and Alan and I were both watching that.
And had to jump off.
It was awesome.
It was great.
And I'm so proud of Sloan and what she's doing. I met her earlier this year when I went to St. Louis to visit her shop, filming my Jersey's Adventures in Apparel Decorating episode. And what a fantastic shop. Her people that work there, they are just incredible. And I just love the culture that they have there. And it's so unlike any shop that I've been to. And I've been to a bunch, and so have you, Alan. It was just really kind of just, so refreshing to see. And she's just killing it, and she's such a breath of fresh air. And so if you weren't watching Two Regular Guys today, I highly suggest go find that video or listen to the podcast. You're going to get a lot out of it.
Yep, absolutely. I had never met her before. I don't believe I have, but man, she was incredible. I cannot wait to meet her one day.
Right.
I would love the opportunity to go to the shop. So
okay. Well, I know when you're going to meet her, because she's definitely going to be at Shirt Lab.
And Dallas,
you're going, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna make sure I'm down there. So
yeah, well, we've only been talking about it for over a year.
Yeah, you got the lineup there, man, at Shirt Lab Dallas. So I'll give you a plug, man. You got the all-star lineup. So
yeah.
That's awesome.
We've got like 2 minutes left here. So what I'd like to do is just to close it up, and Keith Burwell says, hey, go Cowboys. Thanks. Is
and Bollinger, dream Super Bowl, my friend. Browns versus the Lions. Keep it in the Great Lakes. Yeah, and then the world will end because
right. So here's how you get a hold of Alan.
Yep.
He's happy to help you, right?
Yep.
You'll answer questions
all day long.
All day long. And here's me. So we would love it for you guys to reach out to us with your questions. If you didn't get them in, or you're watching this video later because maybe you're doing something when we broadcast this, we're here for you, right? The reason we're doing this whole thing is to help you guys out. And we'd love for you guys to reach out to us. And then one last time, I don't know why the shirtlabsummit.com didn't work for you, Peter, but just to make sure, here's the entire hyperlink with the crazy numbers at the end. I don't know what those mean, but this is just what I went to the site, and this is how you can get signed up to be on the official news feed for something that we're going to be sharing later. So again, Shirt Lab Summit is going to be on June 1st to June 3rd, and we would love for you guys to participate with that. Any other thing, Alan, before we go?
No, I want to thank everybody because, we're here talking, trying to answer questions, but Marshall, I'm inspired. Every time I listen to a podcast or am involved in one, the questions and the comments just keeps me going. So thank you very much, everybody. And, you and I have talked. I'm working on some things that might be slightly outside of the industry for the first time in my life. This is making me just, get a little bit of a backbone in those areas. None of us all have it together. So thank you very much.
Yes. Hey, I totally agree with that. It's so inspiring to see what people are doing. And I think it's a time to really reassess what you're doing with your life, and just with what's going on. I mean, people are actually forced to spend more time with their families, and that's a good thing, right? So.
And what, we are in the greatest, even though this is horrible time. I actually made a call, checked on my aunt. She's almost 90, and she's in Florida in Gainesville, and we were talking. She says, "Honey, this is bad." She goes, "It's not the Depression. It's not during World War II." And she was raised in rural Alabama. So she goes, "You know what? Being in my apartment, in your house, all of us still have it better off than a lot of people do in different countries on their best day. So we still need to be thankful."
All right, guys. So we'll close with this. Sam says, "I sincerely appreciate what you guys are doing. We got to stick together." And I couldn't agree with that more. And I think that's a great sentiment to close today. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you.
Bye-bye, everybody. Be safe.